Respected viewers, dear family of dreamers, thank you for being here. I receive your presence with humility and gratitude. In a world filled with noise and urgency, your willingness to listen tells me you are searching for something deeper than quick money. You are searching for clarity. Now listen closely. There are invisible forces shaping every financial life. They don't announce themselves. They don't arrive with drama. They work quietly, daily, patiently. And one day, a person wakes up, either supported by stability or trapped by struggle. Destiny rarely shouts. It whispers through habits. And wealth, like poverty, is often the echo of what we repeat when no one is watching. Pause for a moment. What if the reason money slips through your fingers has nothing to do with opportunity and everything to do with a few habits you've normalized? I've spent a lifetime observing patterns across businesses, across markets, across human behavior. And I can tell you this with calm certainty. People are not kept broke by lack of intelligence. They are kept broke by behaviors that feel reasonable in the moment, but destructive over time. Today, I want to walk with you through 5 money habits that quietly keep people broke, not to shame you, not to frighten you, but to wake you up, gently, honestly, permanently. Let's begin. The first habit is deceptively comforting. People confuse being busy with building wealth. They work long hours, they exhaust themselves, they feel productive, and yet nothing compounds. No asset grows, no margin appears, no future becomes safer. I once met a man who worked harder than anyone in his circle. He was always tired, always stressed, always in motion. When I asked him what he was building, he paused. He had never asked himself that question. Activity is not progress. Money rewards leverage, not motion, direction, not desperation. If your effort does not create something that grows while you sleep, skills, ownership, systems, you are running in place, busy, proud, and stuck. Now let's move to the third habit, and this one destroys people with confidence. They chase quick money. Fast gains, hot trends, exciting opportunities, stories of overnight success that ignore the years of failure beneath them. Speed feels intelligent until it isn't. I've watched people abandon sound plans because they were bored. They mistook boredom for failure and excitement for opportunity. And when reality corrected them, the cost was not just financial, it was emotional. Here's something worth remembering for life. If a plan requires constant excitement to sustain commitment, it is not a plan, it is a gamble. Real wealth is built slowly, quietly, repetitively. Time does the heavy lifting, but only for those patient enough to let it work. Now let's move to the fourth habit, and this one is subtle and deeply human. People spend money to impress people who are not thinking about them at all. They buy symbols of success before building substance. They trade freedom for approval, and they don't realize the cost until years later. Every dollar you spend to look successful is a dollar you cannot use to be successful. True wealth whispers. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't require validation. Freedom is always purchased with restraint. And now we arrive at the fifth habit, the most dangerous of all. People stop investing in their thinking. They want better results without better judgment. They want outcomes without understanding. They want rewards without preparation. They will pay interest for decades, but hesitate to invest in learning. They scroll endlessly, but rarely study deeply. Your mind is the ultimate asset. If your thinking does not improve, your financial life will eventually stall, no matter how hard you work. Money flows toward good judgment and away from ignorance. Pause here. We've uncovered 5 habits: ordinary, common, socially accepted, and quietly destructive. In the next part, we'll explore why these habits persist even among intelligent people and how to replace them with principles that build stability, confidence, and peace over time. Let this settle. Let it challenge you without judgment. Good. Let us continue, calmly, honestly, exactly where we left off. Now, you may be wondering something important. If these habits are so harmful, why do intelligent, hard-working people keep repeating them? The answer is not weakness. It is conditioning. Most people are trained to react to money, not to think about it. They react to fear. They react to desire. They react to comparison, and reaction over time becomes habit. Let me tell you a quiet truth I've learned through decades of observation. People don't fail financially because they make one bad decision. They fail because they repeat small, comfortable mistakes for years. Consider the person who avoids looking at their finances, not because they are irresponsible, but because clarity feels uncomfortable. They tell themselves, "I'll deal with it later." Later becomes months. Months become years. Avoidance feels like relief in the short term, but it compounds into chaos. Wealth requires one thing most people resist: the courage to look clearly at reality. No denial, no excuses, just truth. Now let's talk about replacement, because removing a bad habit without replacing it creates a vacuum, and the old behavior returns stronger. To escape being broke, you don't need luck, you need principles. Here is the first principle that changes everything. Delay gratification longer than the average person. This is not deprivation, this is strategy. I've seen 2 people earn the same income. One spends to feel good today, the other saves to feel free tomorrow. 10 years later, their lives look nothing alike. Short-term pleasure trades places with long-term regret, or long-term discipline trades places with long-term peace. You decide which future you purchase daily. The second principle is one most people underestimate. Build margin before ambition. People want investment before they stabilize. They want growth before resilience. They want upside before safety. That's backwards. Margin is what allows patience. Margin is what allows mistakes. Margin is what keeps you calm when others panic. Without margin, every setback becomes a threat. With margin, setbacks become tuition, and tuition, when learned from, is never wasted. The third principle is uncomfortable but freeing. Accept that wealth is boring. It is repetition. It is routine. It is doing the obvious thing longer than others are willing to do. People abandon good strategies because they don't feel successful while doing them. But feelings are poor financial advisors. If you want excitement, go to entertainment. If you want wealth, embrace boredom. Let me share a small story. I once watched a young investor abandon a solid plan because it wasn't moving fast enough. He chased opportunity after opportunity, always learning, never compounding. Years later, someone with less intelligence but more patience surpassed him quietly. The difference wasn't brilliance, it was endurance. Time rewards those who stay. Now pause with me here. In the final part, we will bring everything together: the habits that trap people, the principles that free them, and the mindset that turns money from a source of anxiety into a tool for peace. Let us move forward gently, thoughtfully, into the final part of this journey. By now, something important should feel different inside you. Not excitement, not urgency, but clarity. Because real financial awakening doesn't arrive like a lightning strike. It arrives like dawn, slow, quiet, undeniable. In this final part, I want you to understand something deeply human. Most people don't want wealth, they want relief. Relief from stress, relief from fear, relief from the constant pressure of what if. And that relief does not come from more money alone, it comes from control. Control over decisions, control over time, control over reactions. Money, when handled wisely, gives you options, and options give you peace. Let's revisit the habits we uncovered, not as mistakes, but as lessons. Staying busy instead of building, spending before saving, chasing speed over certainty, buying approval instead of freedom, neglecting your thinking. Each one has the same root cause, short-term emotion overriding long-term judgment. And that is not a character flaw, it is a human tendency. The solution is not perfection. The solution is systems that protect you from yourself. Here is one of the most powerful shifts you can make. Stop asking, how much can I make? Start asking, how long can I survive without panic? Survival creates patience. Patience creates good decisions. Good decisions create wealth. In that order, always in that order. I want you to imagine two futures. In one future, you continue as most people do, reacting, adjusting, hoping. In the other, you choose restraint when others choose impulse. You choose learning when others choose comfort. You choose consistency when others chase novelty. Both futures are realistic. Only one is peaceful. Remember this. Money grows best in calm hands, not anxious ones, not impatient ones, not emotional ones. Calm hands wait. Calm hands think. Calm hands compound. If you take nothing else from this message, take this. Being broke is rarely about income. Staying broke is almost always about habits. And habits can be changed. Quietly, gradually, permanently. We have now walked through the behaviors that keep people trapped, the principles that set them free, and the mindset that sustains wealth over a lifetime. So now I'll ask you gently. Then let us end this the right way, slowly, truthfully, with purpose. Take a deep breath with me. Because wealth, when understood correctly, is not loud. It does not rush. It does not beg for attention. It arrives quietly, when your habits finally align with your values. If you remember nothing else from this journey, remember this simple truth. Money is not a reward for ambition. It is a reward for discipline repeated over time. The 5 habits that keep people broke are not sins. They are signals. Signals that awareness is missing, that patience is undeveloped, that thinking has been outsourced to emotion. And the moment awareness enters the room, change becomes possible. You don't need to overhaul your life tomorrow. You don't need to be perfect next month. You only need to be slightly wiser today than you were yesterday. Save before you spend, even if it feels small. Think long-term, even when the world celebrates shortcuts. Protect your peace, even when others chase appearances. Invest in your mind because it decides where every dollar goes. Do these quietly. Do them consistently. And let time do what it has always done for those who respect it. One day, years from now, you will wake up and realize something profound. Money no longer scares you. Decisions no longer rush you. And life feels lighter. Not because you became rich overnight, but because you became steady. and steadiness is the foundation of abundance. May your wealth be calm. May your habits be strong. May your future feel spacious, intentional, and free. And may you never forget, true prosperity is not just having more, it is needing less and understanding more. Thank you for walking this path. Move forward patiently, peacefully, and with quiet confidence.